Good morning, Ms. Hartman. I just have a few questions on behalf of the defense. You mentioned on direct examination that you were screaming to the defendant on the ride.
Yeah, I yelled for her to turn it off.
You can't tell us if she heard you.
No, nothing happened, so I guess not.
You would agree with me that the ride you were operating was loud, or the ride that you were riding was loud.
It was a tunnel of terror, so I guess.
And you said moments before you had heard a gunshot, right?
Yeah,
People were screaming.
yeah, people were scared.
So you can't tell the members of the jury, you know Miss Bowman heard your voice.
No, I wasn't with her.
And Ms. Hartman, I want to talk about a few of the conversations you mentioned. But first, let's start with that stall conversation. You were in a stall, right?
Yeah, I had been going to the bathroom.
And that's when you told us on direct examination you saw a knife?
I thought it might be a knife.
Well, I want to talk about that for a moment. You were sitting in a stall and you were looking through a small slit in the door, right?
Yeah, with this.
And looking through that small slit in the door while you were sitting, you think you saw a knife.
I think so, yeah.
You're not 100% sure.
No, I'm pretty sure though.
So it's possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a knife.
Ms. Hartman, I want to talk about you mentioned something on direct examination. You said that the knife you saw had a bottle opener at the bottom of it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You would describe it as a multi-tool, right?
Yeah, I was like a knife with a bottle opener, so it had multiple tools.
Well, these conversations you told us about on direct examination, when you're hiding behind a tree, remember that?
Yeah.
And while you were in the stall, you had an opportunity on August 30th, you had an opportunity to tell the police.
Objection, relevance.
I don't think I heard a question finished yet.
My
Finish
question?
your question?
I was about to finish my question, yes, Your Honor.
Let's hear the question first and more.
These conversations that you mentioned on direct examination, the stall, and being behind that tree, you didn't tell the police. Or you had an opportunity to tell the police, that's true?
Yes.
And on August 30th, these conversations you mentioned on direct, you didn't tell the police.
Objection, relevance.
May I respond, Your Honor? This goes to the credibility of this witness. And credibility and bias is always relevant.
How's it go with credibility?
If she lied to the police in the past, it shows that she may have a character for truthfulness or untruthfulness, that being she has a reason to not tell the truth today.
May I respond, Your Honor? My witness was under no legal obligation to report these events to the police, and by not reporting them, she certainly did not lie.
May I respond, Your Honor? If she was asked on what she knew, and she didn't tell them about these knives that they're telling us on direct examination, that definitely affects the credibility and the weight of the testimony that they heard about on direct examination. The members of the jury have the right to weigh that testimony. If she didn't tell the police that the day of the robbery, the day that police asked about it, that's very relevant.
May I be heard? Once again, I stand by the fact that this witness did not have an obligation to report these events to the police, and also the manner in which this investigation was conducted has not been established.
May I respond on those grounds, Your Honor? When the police ask you about what you know about a crime the day of the incident, and you don't tell them, you do have a responsibility to tell them your knowledge. And when she didn't tell them, and she chose not to tell them, that affects the credibility and the weight of the testimony she offered on direct examination. And credibility is always relevant.
I don't think she had a legal duty to say anything. We're not going to rule on that right now.
Yes, Your Honor.
However, that the jury will hear the evidence, weigh the evidence according to ordinary affairs of life, and whether or not they think this is or is not something they should consider, I think is a question to them, not to the court. So the objection on that basis is over with.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hartman, on August 30th, the day the police asked you about what you knew, you didn't tell them about these conversations. That's true?
That's true. I just told them about August 30th.
You didn't tell them about this knife exchange you told us on direct examination.
No, just about the tunnel of terror.
Ms. Hartman, you said you were a frequent visitor of Rockwood, right?
Yes, it's really fun.
You visited in 2011.
Uh-huh.
In that season, what bomb was she was operating the ticket booth?
Yes, she was.
And that season, you never saw any fake wristbands in the park.
I don't think so.
Is it you think so, or did you see it, Ms. Hartman? You didn't see any, did you?
No.
When the next season, in 2012, that was when Cameron Poole started working in the ticket booth, right?
Yes.
That's the season that you started to see these fake wristbands.
I never really paid attention to the fake ones, but I guess.
That's when you saw them, in 2012?
Yeah.
Well, to be clear, Ms. Hartman, you never saw Ms. Bowman give or receive these wristbands or money to customers.
No.
Well, that was the ticket booth operator's job, to your knowledge.
Yeah, he gives out the money and the bracelets.
Well, you never saw Ms. Bowman give or receive money or wristbands to Cameron Poole, did you?
No.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor?